For obvious reasons, my camera roll from 2020 is pretty empty, but one thing I do have quite a few pictures of is my Animal Crossing builds from my first ever island. As I was looking back through these, it got me thinking, why don't I give these a 2024 makeover, give them a bit of a revamp and try and incorporate them into my new spring island? Now that I have lots of experience under my belt, maybe these will be a little bit better than they were 4 years ago. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and also subscribe. But without further ado, let's take a look at these very old builds. So the first build that I want to recreate is this greenhouse. As you can see, I was very much in my cottagecore era. I somewhat still am. I still love this aesthetic, but I want to give this a bit of a revamp, add in some 2.0 items because there's none of that here, and just give it a little bit of a spring twist to it. And I think this will fit really nicely on my island of Dandelion. So here we are, let's get to the building. First things first is obviously we're going to need some path. In the original there was like a darker wood plank, but the darker wood plank is definitely not going to fit with the whole vibe of this island. It's much more kind of lighter and it has more of a spring feel to it. There's more white woods as opposed to dark brown woods, which is more kind of where I was in 2020, I think, like with all the dark woods and cottagecore and everything. But now I think the light woods are definitely stealing my heart. So these are the planks that I've been using on this island, and these are going to make the kind of backdrop or the under part for the whole kind of shed greenhouse area. And I did want to try and stagger them a bit. This area isn't huge. In the original build there was some like terraforming around it, but obviously as you can see it's on more of a cliff. And for the back, I'm going to use the storefronts. Obviously, I didn't have these back in 2020. Back then, what all I had was just simple panels. So it was just simple panels paced down. And then I did forget that we need a helmet for this next part because this is the in-game path. Now, I did use the in-game path in the original build, but it was just kind of all like a whole straight line. And again, that was using the darker dirt. This is the lighter dirt path, and I'm gonna reuse what I did from when I made my carrot farm, and it was like these little plots, because I saved so many codes for this little area that I'm gonna need to make good use of them. So I'm using them here. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. I thought it was super cute. I made like this little multi-level carrot farm thing. It was adorable. But yes, I'm going to use these borders here as well. As I said, mainly just to make good use of them, but also just to mix it up a bit. I did like what I did in the original photo with the path. There was like a kind of stepping stone through it. So I'm going to try and incorporate that. I don't have any stepping stone codes on this island though, so I'm going to have to think about that, maybe rethink about how we're going to work that into it. I did decide to change up these log planks because they just weren't sitting quite right now that I put the flower beds in, so we just had to make some little minor adjustments. I had a feeling this would happen, but it doesn't look too bad. And then I'm going to put that puddle design there so that I can remind myself later that that's where the kind of water pump should go. I tried using these log plank designs, they didn't work, so I did go for the log stumps in the end. Because they're two different designs, they did kind of have a little bit of a curve to them, not as much as in the original build, but they look cute. And then today, just as I was filming this design came up on my Twitter, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute, I have to try and incorporate it. However, now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, maybe that color wood isn't working, but the stool design is from the same creator. I'll put it up on screen for you so that you know what the creator code is. They are so cute, so worthwhile looking at and downloading their codes. They were really nice. And then I did decide to go in with the greenhouse design because the original had like darker wood greenhouse. I decided to go for white just to switch it out and make it more kind of incorporated. Can you see how far we've come with the custom designs? I swear the custom designs back then were not this detailed. Like that, it's kind of realistic and I love it. And then I added in the ranch kitchen. In the original design, I think I used the ironwood, but I don't tend to use the ironwood very much anymore. I think the ranch designs have definitely stolen my heart, so I'm glad to see that. There was also a garden wagon in the original, so I'm going to try my best to incorporate it. I'm not overly sold on the colours in it because it's got like different pastel colors. This was in the original design, and I'm going to try and make it work. I don't think I'm going to love it, but I'm going to try it. I had this little ironwood lower table, and then there was a stone stool, and then I had some plants on top of it. So we'll see how that works. And I also did decide to add in some barrels. There were lots of barrels. I'm just going to switch this barrel around with the, what are they called? The stack of the boxes, because I don't want 2 barrels on one side. I don't want it to be 2 barrel heavy, which is something you probably never thought you'd hear me say. And then in the other build, there was also lots of different plants. Like I think I had the fan palm thing and also the monstera plant. I just use these all the time. I love the chafleuras. I still don't know if I'm saying that right, but I just love these plants now, and I can't go back to the 1.0 ones. The green pile, that is also stolen from the other build. Love that. I think it will work nicely here as well, because I have got them elsewhere on this island, so it does kind of work. And then these stack bags, we didn't have these way back in 2020, obviously, but we did have a cushion design. And I remember going to town, custom designing those cushions to try and make them look like bags of soil and everything. So I'm going to try and use them instead. And then this is the area that I had. I had kind of like a few different floating biome planters just all spread across, but this wasn't looking quite right. I don't know if it was just all the different heights or something, but I decided that one in the middle of the low table will look better, and we'll try this bottle crate with just some potted starter plants, because these are cute and I like the height of them. I think they're a good size, so I'm going to use them instead. And then I'm just going to fill all of these shelves with lots and lots of plants. I'm gonna try and use some of the ones that I did use back then. The Ethereum plant is something that I used a lot. The moss ball, I actually had the moss ball down as like something growing in the grass. Who remembers that so much? We used to always do that a lot. And then the pine bonsai tree, I think those kind of work as well. I could have just honestly filled it with flowers and I would have been happy with that, but I don't want to use all of the same stuff. The hand cart in yellow is a must. The thing about these designs, having these borders, is you can't plant flowers right up against them because of the way the design is. So we're just going to have to try and fill as much in around the edges just to fill it out a bit. And then I thought it needed a little bit of a tree, so I've added that on this side, and then a wheat field and the garden wagon. The garden wagon, oh my gosh, getting this back in, such a struggle. You would have thought after 4 years I would have learned how to do it properly. Still no. Still struggling, living my best life, just struggling over here. And then the water pump, for some reason I couldn't find it anytime, so there it is. All sorted now, hopefully, fingers crossed. And then obviously we've got a water pump, something that I used to do way back when. We've got to add a bucket in front of the water pump. It's just obligatory. And then, as I said earlier, we were talking about using plants for other things, and that's why I'm going to do this. This I haven't seen done in a while, and it is something that I feel like a lot of us used to do back in 2020, especially when we didn't have crops or we didn't have all the kind of like cool furniture that we have now, was to use other items, like for example here, lamps and mum's cushions, as something else. So these are going to be my flower fields. I still do prefer the normal flowers, don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to make it a little bit of a nod to an older build, so that's why I'm going with these. I did try to put that custom design down. It's like little yellow petals, but it wouldn't allow me to because of the whole planter thing, which is annoying. It would have looked cute, I promise. And then I just added in that stool, and I wasn't feeling the garden wagon. I had to give up on it. It just was looking way off, so I decided to put a hay bed there instead. And then I've gone in with some more of the hyacinth lamps just to fill it out a bit more, and the mum cushions as well. I wanted like a mix match kind of feel to it, and I did fill out the whole area, and then I was like, is that just a bit boring? Should I change it up a bit? Should I mix and match? So this is ultimate derpy Emma, numpty Emma coming out in full fashion, because I was like, what if we have a shovel and then there's like a drop mum next to it? How cute would that look? Yeah, it looks really cute, but I could not get the mum to drop wherever. However I tried, I couldn't get it to drop where I wanted it, and it was this is actually really embarrassing. I don't know why I haven't edited it out, but this is true reality of how I decorate. And oh my gosh, I should have given up. I should have given up so bad, but I didn't. I persevered. I persevered so much, and eventually I got it to an angle where I was like, okay, I'm kind of happy with that. And then I put the shovel down. Was it worth it? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Did it look better with all the mum cushions or with the shovel there? I don't know. I'm still undecided now, but it took me a lot of effort to get there. It's staying there. And then I just decided to add in this little yellow flower just to add in some more yellow detail. For a flower farm greenhouse area, I feel like there should be more flowers. And then the final thing I'm going to do is add a final wheat field. So there we have my new greenhouse. I hope you enjoyed watching that. The next build I want to do is something that I feel like is very stereotypical, but I want to take inspiration from what I did before and show you how I would do it now. And that is this little coffee shop build. It's very kind of rustic. Again, a lot of darker colors. There's a lot of like little coffee elements here as well. So I'm going to try and do that, give it a bit of a makeover for 2024. Definitely ramp up that stool because it just looks so basic now. So as you can see, I decided to separate out the areas with the two different paths. I just wanted to make it clear as to where the stool's going to be and where the seating area is going to be. This is going to be very much an outdoor coffee shop, which is kind of what the other one was. And for the store area, as you can see, I'm going in with the loft beds because I'm so used to using the storefront, so I was like, let's do something a bit different. So I'm using them. I'm going to use the covered counter also just to kind of hide the loft beds a bit. I've used a simple panel and the curtain partition. Honestly, the curtain partition, one of my favorite items. And then I am still going to use the storefront, so I'm just going to put them on the sides just to make it feel like a little coffee hut. This is very different from what we did in the original one when it was just more like a stool just stood alone, but I think it still has those kind of same vibes. It's still somewhere that you could go and get coffee from. Just think of it as like a temporary structure, I guess. And then obviously we need barrels. There was quite a few barrels in the other build, so I definitely wanted to incorporate that as well. And then for the seating area, I decided I wanted to use the round tables. I could have used the iron tables like I had in the other build, but made them white, but they don't really have those yellow colors. So I really wanted to try a way to try and find just to get a few more yellow colors in here. So I've custom designed them. They've got those yellow flower patterns on, and with the seats as well, having a mixed match of different seats, mixture between the white and the yellows, will just hopefully help it feel like it's still more in fitting with this whole kind of island theme that I'm going for. I did decide to add in like a vintage stool as well, just mixing those different heights. I love doing that, and I think it really does help. I don't know if this was the most obvious choice. I could have probably put the gramophone thing up on this barrel, but I decided to go in with the table lamp as well, just because I want it to feel like a little bit cutesy, and I feel like the little table lamp always has those right vibes for me, so hopefully that will help. And then just finishing off the little tables with some obviously food, drinks and stuff. And then the other build did have lots of sacks and cushions with all of the different designs on, which kind of was supposed to be like more the coffee beans and stuff, and I just wanted to try and incorporate that. Now obviously I don't need to use the cushion with the custom design on. I do love that, but now we have actual sacks. You're just gonna have to pretend they have coffees in them though, because they don't have any coffee signs on them, but I think they still work. I wish I had like a yellow coffee bean bag or maybe even a white one, but it is what it is. And then it's time to just finish off the whole area with some flowers and some of the little details. I did just make some adjustments to the pathing that I had placed down as well, just to make it kind of look a bit more kind of put together. And then also adding some fencing behind. Getting those layers behind builds is definitely a must. One huge tip if you're wondering why things look so flat, just think about what's behind your build, not just in kind of the foreground. And then the flowers that I'm going for are obviously going to be a mixture of the yellow and the white just to fit in. Also some wheat field, some filler custom designs, just a few different things here and there. One thing I do like to do is make sure that I don't have, or I try and avoid it, is having 2 of the same kind of colors of flowers together and 2 of the same types. So that's why you'll see me like mixing and moving things around. A cute little bunny design, just because we are in spring and I want to make sure that I use all of the cute little designs that I have saved for this island, otherwise I feel like they've kind of gone to waste. But yeah, and then I just wanted to make a little entranceway for the paths. This kind of little wood plank design, I like it, but I don't know if I can really get it to look right half the time just because of the angle of it. But there we have it. That is my coffee stall complete. I hope you like it. So there we have it. There was a little bit of a flashback. I hope you enjoyed looking at this with me and making some changes. I definitely miss the old days of Animal Crossing, but I'm happy with where we are now and I do still enjoy decorating, clearly. Have a great rest of your day and I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.